Right. How's it going, movie fans? Welcome to Doctor Who Series 4 review. And obviously, as I've mentioned in the previous two reviews, this is only going to be for the Series 4, the first 13 episodes. Series 4, the specials, is going to get its own video, which is more work and effort for me, but I am happy to do that because I feel like there's enough content in the specials to warrant its own video. It may not be as long as the others because there is not much to say about stuff like Planet of the Dead and Waters and Mars, but there's a lot to say about the Next Doctor and the End of Time Part 1 and the End of Time Part 2, because obviously for personal reasons, the End of Time Part 1 and 2 is a special episode for me because it was one of the earliest episodes of Who I ever saw, because I had a promotional DVD with it and then the 11th Hour on it, which was quite an interesting selection of episodes, and I'm quite happy with that DVD. I don't know what it is, but I know I had it. It was back when the Sun used to offer free thingies, and that's fun. But yeah, let's just get into a general series overview of what's to come in this episode. I want to talk about the specials, but we've obviously got Partners in Crime episode, this is the review for that, The Fires of Pompeii, The Planet of the Ood, The Sontaran Stratagem / The Poison Sky two-parter, The Doctor's Daughter, which has an interesting story behind that one, The Unicorn and the Wasp, The Science in the Library, The Forest of the Dead, Midnight, Turn Left, and Stone and Earth Journey's End. Now, I think as a whole this series is interesting in that I don't think it ever gets as high as Series 1 and some episodes of 2 and 3, to be honest, but I think there's a lot of positives. I'm just going to point out some that I think are enjoyable. Partners in Crime, Planet of the Ood, The Sontaran Stratagem, Poison Sky, Doctor's Daughter is fairly enjoyable, and then Science of the Library, Forest of the Dead can be fun at points, and then Midnight and Turn Left are actually quite enjoyable. Again, those two we'll talk about the changing of the formula again, and those two do that very much. And then obviously the Stolen Earth and Journey's End are quite fun. Usually I'd put the one Christmas special in with the rest, but I'm not going to do that because, like I said, the specials episode is going to need a lot of stuff. But yeah, so yeah, that's what's coming up here in this series. I just before we start off, like you can hear now in the background, for Series 4, there was a new version of the famous Doctor Who theme commissioned by Murray Gold, a more almost rock-sounding version to probably fit with the fact that your boy, David Tennant's the more fun action Doctor, so they did this nice version of the theme for that version. And obviously, going forward, it's going to be an interesting dynamic of obviously it's this new piece, this new version of the theme mixed with the old aesthetic title, the old titles, the old that stuff, which is interesting to say the least. But yeah, it's like I said, to open that episode with the way it did, I think the Partners in Crime is an episode on Partners in Crime. Actually, I think Partners in Crime is an episode that particularly, I personally think, it's very much sets the tone for what this series is going to be going forward. In that, what I'm talking about obviously is it sets the tone for this very much more comedy-based series, which is what this one is, opposed to emotional draining stuff, and it also sets the tone for the relationship between the Doctor and Donna, which I think, like I've mentioned previously, is far better than the relationship between the Doctor and Martha, and to an extent better than the relationship between Doctor and Rose. And speaking of those two, we'll get into those two. Rose we talk about in this here, but Martha comes in. It's an interesting series for characters and stuff. It's definitely a series that decides to obviously bring everything from the previous, the whole of the 10th Doctor's reign into one full circle, and including the bringing back of another famous villain from the series' history, the Sontarans, which obviously come back in the aforementioned named episode, the Sontaran Stratagem and the Poison Sky, which also features the return of Martha, but we'll get into that soon. But yeah, like I said, Partners in Crime itself is a very intriguing episode. Like I said, I very much enjoy the Adipose and the concept and like I said, it very much sets up the tone for the rest of the series, and I think we need an episode like that that's primarily based, on Earth, in and around where Donna is, that sets the tone between them two. You don't want to jump straight into it. I say that, I do think that Smith and Jones definitely sets the tone for that relationship, and like I said, this episode sets the tone for the relationship between these two, and I think that's that, and the tone of the whole series, which is more a comedy approach, obviously thanks to Catherine Tate, who plays Donna, being a really a comedian, so that works. And I think that's what I like about these two. They have a very comedic relationship, and I think that's was the basis for most companions going forward, to have that touch of comedy and then have that love interest there to an extent for some of them, but not all of them per se. So maybe you could say Amy, definitely Amy and the Doctor, but that also had a mixture of comedy and love with Jenna Coleman's Clara. It's hard to tell, but I think this was very much the setup for mixing a little bit of Donna with a little bit of Rose. Definitely not Martha, because that was pushing it too much, but I think a little bit of Rose and a little bit of Donna, and that's what makes a lot of the newer companions, I'm saying that specifically as I think that's definitely the concoction that was used to come up with the character of Amy. Personally, I think she's a fantastic character, one of my favourite characters in all of Who. Very funny, and obviously I like Scottish people, so that's another plus point, because I am a quarter Scottish, so that's fun. But yeah, it definitely set up her quite well. It definitely is what I'd say. Clara has some of that there as well, some feisty, and I think that the same. I mean, I can't really comment on Bill, because not me, the character Bill, because I haven't seen that series. But I can definitely say that's definitely for Amy and Clara. But yeah, we'll get to those two eventually. And I think Partners in Crime does do the job of setting up Donna and bring her back in a nice way, and then also almost telling the audience what she did in the time between Runaway Bride and that, and also try to tell people who maybe didn't see the Runaway Bride, because it was 2 years before this series starts, that Donna is someone who the Doctor has seen before, which is a rare thing in the series, because we've had actors who've been in previous series and then come back to portray bigger characters, which happens, by the way, in the next episode, but we'll get to that. But we've never had a character who's been in a one-off Christmas special actually come back in the full series. So we've had the one-off companions like Astrid Perth in Astrid Perth in Christmas in The Voyage of the Damned, or Sally Sparrow in Blink, but we haven't had someone like Donna Noble, who was in one Christmas special and then 2 years later was brought back in the series. And obviously the story behind that is, let me go through that, is when Russell T Davies was drawing up the pitch for series 4, he wanted to create a character with the same properties that Donna had, but he didn't think that at the time. When he was drawing up the draft, he quickly realised that this character he was drawing up, that came out with the concept, was pretty much basically Donna in a nutshell. So he called up Catherine Tate, asked her if she wanted to come back, and here we are with series 4, a series with Donna, which is something quite interesting. But another thing that's obviously set up at the end, there are a few hints in this episode that set up stuff in the future. Namely, I believe, I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but I see in the windscreen on one of the taxis, I think it says the Atmos or something like that, which is to do with the Sontaran Sky, the Sontaran Stratagem, and the Poison Sky. And then there's also a setup for Turn Left, where in a lovely twist, and not a twist, but I like the way it's set up, Donna goes to tell this lady about where she put the car keys, to tell Sylvia, her mother, where the car keys are. And she tells the lady, we don't see her face, we see the back of her blonde hair with a blue jacket. And then she turns around, and it's Rose, and then you hear the Doomsday piece, and then she walks off and disappears. So that obviously sets up Turn Left, and what would eventually go on to become, Stolen Earth, Journey's End. So, like I said, this series is definitely bringing the culmination of all of David Tennant's previous, with the Sontaran Stratagem and the Poison Sky bringing back Martha, and then Turn Left bringing back Rose, and then Stolen Earth and Journey's End, combining almost all of the 10th Doctor's companions, people, including, that's a big two-parter with terms of characters and stuff. It's got everyone: Rose, Martha, Donna's family, Jackie, Mickey, Sarah Jane's there, Captain Jack's there, members of Torchwood are there as well in the background and stuff. It's a big character-driven episode, and I think that's what's fantastic about it. But yeah, it's Partners in Crime, like I said, does the right job in setting up what this series is going to be. It tells the viewer what we're going to be expecting from tone-wise, at least, and I think that's fantastic. That's what's fantastic about it. And yeah, so thanks for sticking with me for all these reviews. They've been quite long, but that's my review of Partners in Crime. And coming up now is episode 2, the Fires of Pompeii review, coming to your screens right about now. Right, so episode 2, the Fires of Pompeii. It's an episode. That's what I'm going to say. It's definitely not the best episode in all of Who. It's far from it. It has enjoyable moments, and also it's quite famous for having two actors who would go on to portray pretty big roles in the future of Doctor Who down the line appear in this episode. And those are obviously Karen Gillan as one of the Sistine Chapel fucking one of the cult members, Karen Gillan, who would go on to play Amy in series 5, 6 and 7, and Peter Capaldi as Cornelius, who would go on to play the 12th Doctor in series 8, 9 and 10. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing to see those two appear in Doctor Who before obviously it's a lot closer for Karen Gillan being only in the next series, but with, you know, it's interesting to see them appear that, you know, before in Doctor Who. But yeah, I think they both do fantastic jobs portraying the characters they portray, but it's just a weak-ass story with horribly bad villains. The Doctor and Donna, they give it all. They are quite funny during the episode of parts, but it also gets quite heartfelt. It's an episode that does its job at the end of the day of being an episode that just minds the gap, I suppose. Like I said, it's good to see Karen Gillan and Peter Capaldi in Doctor Who before then. That's really the only thing that this episode's notable for and even worth watching for, because those two give pretty good performances here. But it's just really nothing special at the end of the day. The music's alright, I suppose. Murray Gold does a standard really good job of composing the music, but it's nothing special at the end of the day. The next couple episodes are far better in, you know, the Sometime Stratagem, that one, and then obviously the next one being the Ood episode. But yeah, like the next 4 episodes, you've got the Planet of the Ood, which is 3, 4 and 5, the Sometime Stratagem and the Poison Sky are quite fun. The Doctor's Daughter's quite fun as well. The Unicorn and the Wasp is alright, but I think, you know, it takes an interesting approach to the episodes in this series, and I think, I mean, what more can I say than it's a very intriguing series, and Fires of the Pompeii is definitely my least favourite in this standard set series. Obviously the specials are a different thing. I know that the next Doctor was the only one of the specials to come out in 2008, but I'm still going to list the episode as Doctor Who Series 4, the specials 2009, because and I know that End Time Part 2 technically came out in 2010, but it's easier to just wrote them all together in 2009 in my opinion, as the series from 2009 was just that. But yeah, like I said, it's an episode, does its job, it's nothing too special. But yeah, coming up now is my review of Series 4 episode 3, Planet of the Ood. Towards the end of this part of this episode, the series, so when I get to you know, Journey Dead and stuff, I'll start talking about what my future plan is for going forward, and what I'm going to review and stuff. And I am at the moment focusing on getting the Doctor Who stuff out. I know there's a lot of stuff to get through, but there's a lot of movies that I want to do. I've recently come back from seeing Black Widow, and I have it on Disney Plus as well, fortunately, through one of my good friends. So I can watch that. I'm going to watch that 3, maybe 4 more times before I actually give an in-depth review on it, because I feel like that's a movie that out of all the movies that I'm seeing, you know, that I've done reviews on, I need to see it a couple of times to really kind of get my opinion of it, because even I watched it, I put it on yesterday after the report, and even then it just changed my mind a little bit. Like I thought, oh, well, it's actually quite enjoyable and points, so I need to watch it a couple of times to really get the full picture of it. And then also another film that's coming up in the schedule is Escape Room and Monsters Inc. I have yet to confirm what the next one will be, but once all the Doctor Who series reviews have come to an end, that will be the next. That's 3 of the 4 movies that will be in that block are Black Widow, Escape Room and Monsters Inc. So it's a very interesting variety of movies, but I assure you there will be another movie after that, and I'm thinking it'll be a re-review of Alita Battle Angel. That's what that'll be. So that's that block. The next block of movie reviews after Doctor Who's Series 12, which, when that happens, will be quite far in the future. So, you know, but the next block after that will be Black Widow, Escape Room, Monsters Inc., and the re-review of Alita Battle Angel. So yeah, thank you for, you know, sticking with all these Doctor Who stuff. It's taken a long time. But yeah, thanks, and yeah, coming up now is my review of episode 3 of Series 4, Planet of the Ood, coming up right about now. Right, hello, welcome to my review of Series 4, Episode 2, Series 4, Episode 3, Planet of the Ood. It's a fun episode. It's very enjoyable. I think it portrays the Ood as this intriguing set of characters. These obviously very nice set of species, but can be, unfortunately easily controlled in the way they were and stuff. And I think the Ood are a really interesting character, side character in the Doctor Who universe. Obviously, they're not explored too much after series 4, if you ask me, as Moffat tended to abandon a lot of what made the series 1 through 4 sort of thing, and I think that's fun at the end of the day. And but yeah, I think Planet of the Ood is an episode that really does define the Ood, and it's nice to see them get their own solo outing in an episode after the Satan Pit, the Impossible Planet of Satan Pit in the last series, where they're almost just side characters that just did the bidding of the devil, I suppose, which is not a sentence I thought I'd be saying in one of these episodes. But yeah, like I said, it's a very entertaining episode, but also has some serious points about truth and it's definitely got a political agenda to an extent, but it's not shoved down your throat too much, and I think that's what's good about it. But yeah, like I said, it's a fun episode. It can be very entertaining, and it's cool to see the Ood in a new light. And yeah, I just think it's an overall solid episode. That solid 8, 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a solid episode. It's really an eye opener for what the Ood do as a species, I suppose. But that's what makes it more fun, I suppose. At the end of the day, it's a good episode. That's all I can say. And I wish more of that in Doctor Who in this series, which there is some good episodes, but yeah, like I said, it does, it's a series 4 as a whole has always been intriguing to me, but this episode has always stood out as one of the better ones in the series, definitely better than the previous Fires of Pompeii episode, which I really don't like. But here I think they fleshed out the story and the characters well enough for it to actually remain intriguing enough. But yeah, that's my review of episode 3, Planet of the Ood. Coming up now is my review of series 4, episode 4, the Sontaran Stratagem, the first of a two-parter that returns Martha to, has the return of Martha, which Martha brings the Doctor back to Earth to fight the Sontarans. It's a very, very hefty episode that we'll hear my more in-depth thoughts about that soon. But yeah, thank you for coming to this video again. It's going to be another long one, but yeah, coming up right now is my review of series 4, episode 4, the Sontaran Stratagem. Right about now. Yo, welcome back. Doctor Who series 4, episode 4, the Sontaran Stratagem. The return of not only Martha, but the return of a previous villain from the classic series, the Sontarans. Now, it's a very spicy episode. It's action-packed, and we get to see one of my favourite characters in all of New Who again, Wilfred Mott, the legend. And that's one of my favourite parts of the End of Time Part 1 and 2, is that he is the Doctor's companion in that episode, and I think I'd wished they'd set that more up in Series 4, maybe have him come on an adventure with Donna and the Doctor would have been really cool, but I think to end the 10th Doctor's reign without Donna but with Wilf is fantastically funny, but we'll get to the End of Time Part 1 and 2 eventually. But yeah, it's great to see Martha back, and the banter between Martha and Donna is there. I think the Sontarans are fantastic. They've always been a menacingly awesome villain, like Strax in future episodes of the series. Funny villain. Like I said, it's a fantastic, very much fun episode. And I think it really, I like to see the big brain guy, who's a bit of a dick, but that's funny. When the Doctor figures out it's Sontarans, that's really cool. I think it flows well, and I was just thinking to myself, it's always with these two parts that the second episode is always going to be the better episode by default, because it'll have the more action in it, because it's concluding the story, so it'll have the more action. The first episode is mainly setting things up and then giving us a cliffhanger at the end. The first episode of a two-part is always pre-context to what's happening, then the Doctor and Donna the Doctor and companion get involved, sets up the story, tells us who the villain is before the episode ends. The Doctor finds out who the villain is before that episode ends. Then there's a cliffhanger to do with someone nearly dying or something like that, or they're nearly dying, cliffhanger, and then the second episode ties it all up, gives us much more emotion and stuff, and that's always how the two-parter works, in at least in Doctor Who, and that's how it does work here. And it's great to see Martha back. It's going to be good to see Rose in Turn Left, which is a fun episode. I think, like I said, those 2 episodes, Midnight and Turn Left, are another set of episodes that try to change the formula of Doctor Who in a certain way, and I think that's fun. But in this episode specifically, it's just, you know, I think this 2-part has always been one of the better 2-parts of all the 10th Doctor's reign. I think it's a very, very good 2-part, and I think the first part here is still fantastic. Like I said, great to see Martha back and all those characters, and I think it really adds that layer to have Martha be back there, and then also be Martha be changed over. You think of anyone who is there, should be the least likely to be converted to be on the alien side, but not on the alien side, but you know what I mean. But you know, I suppose that's just how it goes. But yeah, thank you for watching this. Not watching, but you know what I mean. This has been my review of Doctor Who Series 4, Episode 4. This on Tyrant Stratagem. Coming up now is my review of Doctor Who Series 4, Episode 5, The Poison Sky. Coming up right about now. Enjoy that review now. Right, so welcome to my review of Series 4. What the fuck is this? Very confused. Why am I? Oh, this is that thing. Damn. Okay. Yeah, welcome to Series 4, Episode 5, Poison Sky, the finale of the 2-part previous. But yeah. Yeah, I just think that this episode is fantastic. Like, it's obviously, like I've previously mentioned, the finale of a 2-part was always going to be better than. But I also feel like that it also has, you know, it's good to see Martha and Donna again, and yeah, like I said, it's just absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant to see those two with each other, and the whole finale, and the Doctor obviously figured out almost immediately that wasn't actually Martha. But I think it's fantastic to see him slowly just go through his process, and the missiles and stuff, and finally figure it out, and then at the end of that guy, the smart guy, does the sacrifice, and I think that's really, really fun and really cool. And I think you know, it's just a fantastic, it's just a fucking tastic way to you know, I think it's fantastic, just an overall episode, you know, and I think as a finale, it does its job of, you know, it just does its job really of, you know, of being absolutely fantastic. It's madness. Yeah, it's just a fantastic episode, and I think at the end of the day, it but yeah, like I said, it's a fantastic episode. It's really, really good episode. Like, I think it's one of the better episodes of this series, but I also still feel like at the end of the day, it, you know, it really elevates itself by being much better constructed than the previous episode. You know, I think it's definitely fleshes its story out a lot more than the previous episode did, but I also feel like it leads a lot of open holes, and obviously the ending is to set up the next episode, The Doctor's Daughter, which has an interesting selection of cast-related backstories to it, but we'll get to that when we're reviewing that episode. That is a very interesting selection of cast backstories, man. But yeah, like I said, a fantastic 2-part as a whole. It's good to see Sontaran's back, and yeah, I mean, you know, it is fantastic. It is absolutely fondue. But yeah, like I said, it is fantastic, and I would highly recommend watching it. Oh, pardon me. But yeah, it is, like I said, it's absolutely fantastic, and I think, like I said, it does the job of being, you know, that episode that finishes it off, and I think the Doctor and Donna have a fantastic up and down here in this episode, and like I said, it's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, yeah, what can I say? Thank you for watching this review, listening to this part. It's a fantastic episode at the end of the day. And yeah, coming at you now with my review of Series 4, Episode 6, The Doctor's Daughter. Coming at your faces right about fucking now. Right, so welcome to my review of Series 4, Episode, let me find it, Series 4, Episode 6, The Doctor's Daughter. So yeah, it's a very it's an interesting episode because the Doctor not only has Martha, not only has Donna, but also has Jenny, her daughter. Now, I think the best place to start with this is obviously the very interesting selection of ties between cast members here. Now, the actress portraying the Doctor's daughter, who was then called Georgia Moffat, no relation to Stephen Moffat, by the way. She is the real life daughter of 5th Doctor Peter Davison, and she went on to marry current 10th Doctor David Tennant. So you could say that Doctor Who runs through her family through and through, because she's married to the 10th Doctor and her father is the 5th Doctor. So if anyone's stuck in the world of Doctor Who, it's her. But yeah, that's the interesting family dynamic. Technically, the Doctor's daughter is actually the Doctor's daughter, but also the Doctor's wife, which is really weird because you know you get what's going on here. But that's the interesting cast trivia to do with this episode. But other than that, it's a fantastic episode. I like to see the two splits, the two different parts we're seeing: Martha with the half, and then the Doctor, Jenny, and Donna with the humans figuring out all that stuff. And you get to see this darker side of the Doctor at the very end as well, where obviously Jenny gets shot and dies. Does stuff, but by the end of the credits she comes back alive again. But you see this almost really dark side of the Doctor where he takes the gun to the guy that shot Jenny, and he nearly kills him, but he does what the Doctor always does and says, "I never would," and then he gives this lovely rage-induced speech about you build this society on the foundation of a man that never would, which is really cool, really interesting, and it's wonderful. But yeah, it's just such an amazing episode to see the Doctor realising that, you know, obviously Jenny has 2 hearts, that makes her Time Lord, all that lovely stuff. But yeah, like I said, it's just a really good episode at the end of the day. It's quite fun, a fun single part episode with all the, Martha and stuff. Obviously Martha in 3 episodes this season. Obviously there's some time and strategy in the Poison Sky and the Doctor's Daughter. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that series finale. We're halfway through series 4. So yeah. But yeah, we're pretty much halfway through the series. Obviously we've still got Unicorn and the Wasp, Shites in the Library, Voice of the Dead 2-parter, Midnight, Turn Left, and then the Solar Unearther and Journey's End, which takes us at the end of Series 4 and the start of Series 4, the special 2009. But yeah, we've still got a ways to go. Some interesting episodes: Unicorn and the Wasp, Shites in the Library, Voice of the Dead. Fun. Midnight and Turn Left, 2 episodes that change the structure of Doctor Who to try and do it, and we'll see how they get along. I'm not going to say if they did or didn't fail, but we'll see how they get along. I haven't seen them one. And then obviously the 2-part finale, starting off the Journey's End, which becomes almost the ultimate in New Who companions, because every single companion from New Who that's even been in the episode, and even 1 episode companions are there. Sarah Jane, Rose, Martha, Donna, Wilf, Captain Jack, Jackie, Mickey, everyone and who's anyone is in that TARDIS, in that finale, and it's fucking awesome. But we'll get to that when we get to that. This has been my review of Doctor Who Series 4, Episode 6, The Doctor's Daughter. Coming up right about now is my review of Doctor Who Series 4, Episode 7, Unicorn and the Wasp. Coming up now. Yo, it's me back with my next review of Doctor Who Series for episode 7, The Unicorn and the Wasp. It's a lovely little murder mystery thing. I think it's really, really fun. It's definitely when you actually go back and watch it, it's more enjoyable than I originally thought it was going to be. But yeah, I think it's a fun episode. I like the idea of the Agatha Christie thing. It's also one of those episodes that uses what is actual known history and twist it a little bit in the fact that obviously she did Agatha Christie did actually go missing, and they twisted it into it was not the Doctor that directly caused it, but events that the Doctor was there for. Which I like episodes that do that twist the actual truth to an extent, make it look like, you know, an interesting way of looking at things, and I think that's what makes that episode brilliant. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's a very fun episode, and it's really just about you know, the whole murder mystery vibe of it's really cool, and I think that's what really makes it you know, one of the better of the most recent episodes, you know, and I think that really adds. But yeah, like I said, it's still a fantastic But yeah, I think it's a fantastic episode. It does really quite well, actually. Like, it's very well structured, I think, personally, and I think that really makes it, you know, a more intriguing episode of all of them, and I think that really adds that, you know, obviously the way it's structured based on a murder mystery is really cool. I think all the characters are brilliant. Felicity Jones, another famous British actor who's appeared in Doctor Who, is in this episode, and he's also, you might know her as that girl from the Star Wars spin-off, Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, like I said, as a whole, it's quite a well-formed episode, and I do think it's lots of fun. But yeah, I couldn't really think much more to say about it. It's just a really solid episode. And yeah, this is my review of Doctor Who Series 4, Episode 7, The Unicorn and the Wasp. Coming up now is my review of Part 1 of the 2 parts, Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, Series 4, Episode 8, Silence in the Library. Coming up right about now. Right, we're back. Doctor Who Series 4, Episode 8, Silence in the Library. I quite like this one because obviously it's written by Stephen Moffat. I'm like 99% sure that these two parts are written by Stephen Moffat. If it's not, I'd be very surprised. But that's the thing with this episode. A lot of things people say from Doctor Who stuff that isn't set up in previous series of knowing certain characters and stuff, but is brought forward in new series that they should have set it up in like series 1 or 2 or something like that. This is a prime example of doing exactly that, and it working wonderfully, because obviously this is the setup here is River Song, who's a bigger part in the 11th Doctor's reign and one episode in the 12th Doctor's reign, and we haven't seen her since then actually. But and this is setting it up of the first time the River meets the Doctor is actually like the first time the Doctor meets River is the last time that they see each other, but it isn't. You know how it fucking works. The first time they meet each other is River Song's last time of seeing the Doctor, but there's still more to come for the Doctor, sort of thing, because of the time travel and all that shit. So I like that as a concept, and the story that's being told here with the whole Silence in the Library thing and the little girl in the outside world is fantastic. And another thing I want to point out, Bond and Doctor Who connections here in this episode, and I also forgot to previously mention that there was a Bond connection to the Series 3 episode, the Series 3 Christmas special, Voyage of the Damned. And in that episode, the man who played the captain in that episode also played a character in Tomorrow Never Dies in 1997. And similarly, in this episode, in these two parts of Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead, we have Colin Salmon, who here plays Dr. Moon, and in Tomorrow Never Dies, the world is not enough to die another day, portrays, I can't remember his name, but it's like Bill Tanner's equal, or something like that, but yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's a fantastic episode. And it's just brilliant, really, at the end of the day. it's quite fun, and I quite enjoy it. You know, it does its job. But yeah, it does do its job of I think it's just an interesting, you know, way of setting things up. And I think it's just a well done episode all round in all circumstances. I think it's fantastically well shot, and the mystery behind River Song is an interesting one, and I think that really is a great way. Obviously now, as a Doctor Who viewer, I know exactly who River Song is and all that stuff, but when this episode first came out, all of that was new. So that's really quite cool to see that progression in a way. So yeah. Like I said, it's a fantastic little episode. Does is quite, you know, I think it does a great job of portraying both River Song as a character, and then also setting, you know, showing the villain, the Vast and the Shrouded. But yeah, I think it could have maybe a bit better execution in some places. But yeah, that's my review of Series 4, Episode 8, Science in the Library. Coming up right now with my review of Series 4, Episode 9, Forest of the Dead. Coming at y'all right about now. Right, so welcome to my review of Series 4, Episode 9, Forest of the Dead. I do like I said, it is just a fact with almost every single two-parter in Doctor Who history that the second part is just going to be more entertaining than the first one, but by default, because you've already got the setup in that first one, like I said, and everything else to build on, and the second part is to flesh everything out and finish off and round up the story, which is exactly what happens here. But I like the interesting twist, like I said, of obviously that Donna gets trapped in this fake world and stuff, and I think that's a really cool concept. And like I said, Colin Salmon has a fantastic role here. He does an interesting role as you know, just an interesting character. So yeah, it's the whole idea of it all unraveling and stuff, and the way it concludes is actually quite interesting and almost a heartbreaking moment and a heartfelt moment with River sacrificing herself, and then the Doctor finding a way to almost bring her back alive and leave her in the mind of the little girl. So that's fun. But yeah, overall an intriguing episode. But yeah, it definitely lends itself to maybe a bit more, you know, oh, that hurt. Just a little bit more fleshing out of maybe a few elements and stuff, and exactly who Dr. Moon is. Fleshing that out a bit more would be quite nice. And yeah, like I said, it's just an intriguing. It's just a fantastically well done episode. Obviously written by Stephen Moffat, so it almost essentially tells you the way it's gonna go. With his his show running days, which are, you know, series is 5 through 10, and 2 Doctors, much like RTD. But yeah, and instead of lasting a crispy 5 years, Moffat did a crispy 7. So, you know, there's that fun fact. But yeah, like I said, it's a very, very, very good episode, an intriguing two-parter, and yeah, it's just an enjoyable time all round with a great plot and a talented cast as well. Like I said, there's a chap who plays Other Dave. He is in the new Black Widow movie. He plays I can't remember the name, but yeah, he's in the new Marvel Disney Plus Black Widow movie. But yeah, thank you for watching. This has been my review of not thank you for watching, but you know what I mean. This has been my review of Series 4, Episode 9, Forest of the Dead. We are, we're coming to the close of Series 4 now. 4 episodes left. This video will definitely be out on the 13th of July, on Tuesday the 13th of July 2021. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Comment as my review of episode 10, Midnight, which is an episode that definitely tries to change the formula in Doctor Who, and we'll see how well that goes, shall we? And I'm going to change up the way I do things. So with most videos I usually have the Doctor Who theme playing on the first episode that I review, and then the Christmas special. But in this case I'm going to have it playing obviously over the 2 videos for Series 4. It'll be over what we've already heard it for the beginning of this episode, and also be on the review for Journey's End for the Series 4, and then also be played over the next Doctor episode and the End of Time Part 2 as well. So Planet of the Dead, Waters of Mars, and Planet of the Dead, Water of Mars, and End of Time Part 1 are going to have a specific piece from the Series 4, the Specials album. But yeah, like I said, fantastic episode. And yeah, my review of episode 10, Midnight, coming at y'all right about now. Right, so here is my review of Series 4, episode Series 4, episode 10, Midnight. Now, like I said previously, and I'm going to go explain it more into depth here, is Midnight and Turn Left are both examples of, again, which you've seen it over all series so far, of the, trying to change the structure and the formula of at least just, trying to change the structure and the formula of a Doctor Who episode. We saw it in Series 2 with Love and Monsters. We saw it in to an extent in series. We saw it in Series 3 with Blink, and obviously they do it once at least each series, except for Series 1, released with enough an hour, at least I think for the old Tennant era, and we've seen it here again in the case of Midnight, specifically Midnight, but also Turn Left as well here. And I mean that because both of these stories, you have Midnight, which focuses on the Doctor, while Donna's on the side, and then Turn Left, which focuses specifically on Donna, with the Doctor at the sideline. Technically, the Doctor's dead at that point. But with Midnight changes the formula in that it's not in some big warehouse where you're running around all the time and stuff. The whole episode of Midnight is essentially contained inside a very, this one single, the truck, the vehicle that they're going from this place to Midnight to. And I like the concept of them all turning against the Doctor. It's an interesting concept. It's very well done here, to the point where, you could always make the excuse that they were almost being controlled and forced by the Midnight entity to keep the Doctor out, even though we obviously know that's not what's true at all. It's just, this is an example of the show trying to tell us humans are shitty, which is an easy fact to comprehend, really. But what I think here, specifically, what I love about this episode, I know people don't think it's the best, but I love the single room setting, the not many people in the episode. There's literally a very small cast in this episode. The only person outside of the truck we see is Donna and no one else. And I think that's a really, really cool concept, and I think it's really well executed here with the whole voice, using the voice thing. And I think, like I said, it's not as good an example of Blink, which is the crowning achievement of that series, if you ask me. Blink is an iconic episode, and it does its job fantastically of changing the structure of Doctor Who, and it is without a doubt one of my top 10 favourite episodes of Doctor Who of all time. I might do a list of that, I don't know, on that website thing, but I can tell you a good chunk of Series 1 is going to be on that list, and select episodes from other series. But yeah, but yeah, like I said, Midnight is still a fantastic effort of trying to change the structure of Doctor Who, structure of an episode, and I think it's fantastic. And I don't know if you've noticed, if you've been watching the series back and stuff, but all throughout Series 4, there's been screens that have Rose shouting Doctor throughout most of the series, which obviously is going to come to the culmination here in Turn Left, and also in Stolen on Earth and Journey's End. But which, like I said, is an interesting setup for these last 3 episodes. Obviously, I'm recording this at nearly 11 o'clock at night on the 12th of July, I'm going to watch Turn Left, and then in the morning of, which will be the 13th of July when the episode should go up, I'll only have the Stolen Earth and the Stolen Earth and Journey then to watch, which I'll watch through those, and then hopefully on the 13th of July it's going to be going up. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Yeah, coming up right now is my review of Series 4, Episode 11, Turn Left, coming up the screen right now. Right, so my review of Series 4 Episode. Let's have a look, shall we? Series 4 Episode 11, Turn Left. Now, Turn Left is a story in itself of what happens when Donna Noble, and it also leads very, very nicely into the finale. It sets the finale up very, very nicely, which is probably its job at the end of the day. But it's also an episode that, much like Midnight before it, much like Blink before it, and much like Love and Monsters before that, is an episode that once again tries to change the way a Doctor episode is structured. There's no Doctor here, and it's sort of telling a story of what if the Doctor died? What if he wasn't there to save the world all these times it needed to happen? What would happen? And specifically, we follow Donna in that situation. So essentially, we find out what happens if Donna wasn't there to stop the Doctor after the Arachnos in the Series 2 finale, Runaway Bride. What we follow that. What happens if Donna isn't there to stop the Doctor? What happens if she turns right instead of turning left, gets a different job, doesn't work at H.G. Clements, and therefore doesn't stop the Doctor from flooding the whole place with the Arachnos, therefore killing the Doctor. So the Doctor's not there to stop the hospital being taken by the Judoon and everyone dies there. The Doctor's not there to stop the Titanic going into London and destroying London. The Doctor's not there to stop the Sontans in the Atmos system. None of that happens, and everything, it gets worse and worse and worse for everyone until Donna goes back in time and fixes her mistake and ends up killing herself. So the timeline resets and stuff, and it's a very, very well done story. And like I said, it sets up the finale extremely, extremely well. And like I said, that's for me to do tomorrow, because I'm currently recording this at 10 to midnight. So at 7 to midnight, so that's fun. But yeah, like I said, it's a fantastic episode, and it's another great episode. It does its job correctly in changing the format of Doctor Who, and I think the episodes, out of all the episodes that did it, so that's obviously Love and Monsters, Blink, Midnight, and this Turn Left, I think the only one that didn't succeed in doing that is Love and Monsters. The others actually succeeded fairly well in changing it. I think Blink is the best out of all of them, but Midnight is a personal favourite of mine from Series 4, and I think I'm going to give the award for best Series 4 episode probably to the two-part Stolen Earth, Journey's End, but Midnight will be a close second. I haven't, we'll get to that. And then obviously, I'm hoping to get up nice and early tomorrow so I can finish the Series 4 review and get the Series 4 the specials review in one day, but it's going to be a hell of a job because the specials, they're quite long, so that's a lot of time, but I'm going to try my best to get the specials review finished and completed at least by tomorrow, by the end of the 13th of July, and up by the 14th of July, 15th at the maximum. But yeah, this has been my review of Turn Left. Yeah, coming up next is my review of Series 4, Episode 12, The Stolen Earth, right now. Right, so welcome back to the review, and today, now we're currently looking at the Bing Bong conclusion of the 10th Doctor's era. Stolen Earth, Journey's End, and obviously we're starting with, of course, Stolen Earth, which is, it's a journey, it really is, and that's no pun intended to the name of the next episode, but it really is a journey. It's the conclusion of everything the 10th Doctor has stood for so far, every companion that he has ever had in one episode. That is Journey's End, but a lot of them come back here. You have Donna by default, then you have Sarah Jane, Captain Jack, Rose and Martha all appear in this episode of Stolen Earth, and in Journey's End they're then joined by Mickey and Jackie, and then they all have this massive epic scene in the TARDIS, and it's so fun. But here obviously we have quite a lot of them back, and it's fantastic to see the likes of Rose and Martha back. Captain Jack seeing him after Torchwood, and Sarah Jane seeing them after both respective shows have started up. Obviously, what I'm referring to is obviously sometime between series 2 and now, and 4. Obviously, the Sarah Jane Avengers and Torchwood, with the 2 spin-off shows that started. So somewhere between those 2 shows, obviously we have now this episode. So yeah, like I said, it's a fantastic episode. It's absolutely brilliant conclusion to the series so far. And like I said, not only do we have all these characters return, we also have the return of one of the most infamous villains in Doctor Who history, other than the Daleks, and that is of course the Daleks' creator, the one and only Davros, who appears in this episode and of course Journey's End. But like I said, it's just such a fantastic way to end the 10th Doctor's final series. And like I said, it's great to see Wilf here as well. Wilf Mott and Donna's mother are here as well. Like I said, everyone who's anyone from the 10th Doctor era, and technically even the 9th Doctor era, is here. It's a Super Smash Bros. Of Doctor Who. But yeah, it's an absolutely cracking episode. I like the story. I like seeing the Doctor go to a Shadow Proclamation and then everyone having to use literally all their strength to get his attention, which is quite fun. But yeah, like I said, it's an absolutely fantastic episode, and a brilliant almost conclusion to the end of series 4. And obviously what's going to happen now is I'm going to then do my review of the second part of this, and then that'll wrap up the series 4 video. That'll go up, and then I'll start the series 4 the specials review. I have a thumbnail and all that for that. But yeah, thank you for watching. This part coming up now is my review for series 4, episode 13, Journey's End, coming at you right about minute now. Right, so series 4, the series 4 finale, series 4, episode 13, Journey's End, and the finale of this video, the end of this review, with, you know, obviously I'm going to be talking my thoughts on that episode and then going over a series overview, a series ending recap, sort of a series recap at, after that. But for Journey's End, it's the perfect climax to series 4. It's the perfect climax to the 10th Doctor's reign as a whole, and although it will come to an end much nicer in, you know, the end of Time Part 1 and 2, I think as a whole Journey's End is a fantastic climax of everything we've got to know with the 10th Doctor. It's a nice sort of farewell note with everyone the 10th Doctor has ever crossed paths with being here. I'm talking Donna, Martha, Rose, Captain Jack, Mickey, Jackie, Sarah Jane, everyone who's anyone is here. Wilfred, everyone is here. And not only that, there's also obviously Davros is back again, and it's an absolutely fantastic episode. There's emotional high. Obviously it's longer than most other episodes, coming in at a hefty 63 minutes opposed to the 45 minutes that most other episodes are, although Turn Left is 50 minutes, but fuck off. But yeah, like I said, it's an absolutely fantastic way to end series 4, and obviously the specials are coming up, but the way it will end it off, Rose getting her extra Doctor to live the rest of her life on parallel Earth, Mickey and Captain Jack and Martha walking off into the distance, Sarah Jane going to look after her son. It's a fantastic way to end the stories for all of these characters, because it is sad to say, but the only one of these characters that would ever return in Doctor Who again would be Captain Jack, and that would be a long way off from this moment in time, from this episode. And it is essentially the wrap up of everyone's stories. Rose, Martha, Donna, Jackie, Mickey, all of them, their story concludes here. And although we'll see them all one more time at the end of Time Part 2, for the majority, the end of their proper story, the end of their history with the Doctor, the end of everything with them and in this show, comes here at the end of Journey's End, and it's a fantastic ending for all of them. And like I said, it's an absolutely fantastic episode to end Series 4 with, one of the highlights of Series 4, a full-length feature film to see the Torchwood team and Sarah Jane's son and all of it, bringing all the spin-off shows together into the main show. It's an absolutely fantastic way to end it. Very well written by Russell T Davies, and I have to admit, as finales go, it is right up there with some of the best we've seen in previous, you know, in New Who. And I think, like I said, it really is a testament to Russell T Davies' writing skills and the acting skills of everyone involved, you know, and I mean everyone, all the way down to, you know, Wilfred Mott and obviously Bernard Cribbins, who portrays him, that the final scene. It's quite a heartbreaking one to see these two people really, and it really, proves how much of a talented actor David Tennant is with this episode. It really proves it to an extent that, I think it really is fantastic. That's all I can say. It's absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see more of, in the specials. But yeah, this has been my Series 4 review, and obviously my final review for the Series 4 being this episode, the Journey's End. And now just a brief little recap of the series we've had in Series 4. Starting off with Partners in Crime, which I give a solid 8. It's quite enjoyable. Fires of Pompeii is a big old 3 for me. I don't like it. Planet of the Odyssey is a solid 8 as well. Sontaran Stratagem 7. Poison Sky 8. Doctor's Daughter, that's a 9 for me. I really enjoy that episode. Unicorn and the Wasp, solid 8. Silence in the Library, solid 8 as well. Forest of the Dead, a solid 8 too. Midnight is a 10 for me. I absolutely adore Midnight. I think it's a fantastic story. Turn Left, I can give that a solid 8. And The Stolen Earth is a 9, and Journey's End is a 10 for me. And I think that's, as a whole, it's a solid series, if you ask me. I think weakest of the series, Fires of Pompeii. Best of the series, that's a tie between Journey's End and Midnight, if you ask me. It's really hard to pick between those two, but yeah. So we have weakest story / worst story being Episode 2, Fires of Pompeii, and the best is a tie between Midnight and Journey's End. So yeah, that's been Series 4, the final series for the 10th Doctor, and also all we've got left now is obviously the specials, which is a review I'm going to be starting immediately as soon as this video has been, uploaded and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you for being a part of this review. It's been an absolute fantastic, it's been a long time coming. I've been, this is one that's taken the longest because obviously I've watched 3 series of Doctor Who all the way through, so I needed a break. I watched some other things, Escape Room, Harley Quinn, all stuff that I'm going to do reviews on eventually. But like I said, with Doctor Who, I find it fairly easy to do reviews of Doctor Who because it's television, I know very well. But when we get to stuff like Man Like Mobeen and Harley Quinn and Doom Patrol and all that stuff, I don't know how well it's going to go and how good it is, and if I'm not happy with it, then it's not going to go up on the channel. But yeah, like I said, it's been awesome doing the Doctor Who review series. Obviously, we're nowhere near the end. This is Series 4. We are coming to the end of an era, of the 10th Doctor, and I think now is the right time to just say that I think this might be a bit of a warning, because I am biased against the next coming series, because the 11th Doctor is my favourite Doctor. I'll explore more with this when we get to the 11th hour and the beginning of Series 5, but yes, the 11th Doctor is my favourite Doctor. So it's going to be an interesting couple of series for 5, 6 and 7, and yeah, here on out, all the Doctors I have a vivid memory of at least a couple of episodes. With the 12th Doctor, I watched Series 8 and 9 all the way through, missed Series 10, and obviously Series 11 and 12, I've been there all the way. So, yeah, here on out, I've watched all of it. I was very young when this series started. I was 2 when New Who started, so I did not watch any of these episodes on TV. The only 10th Doctor episode I ever watched around the time it came out, and even then, that's just stretching it, is The End of Time Part 1 and 2, which I had on, like I said, a promotional DVD from The Sun, which included The End of Time Part 1 and 2 and the 11th hour. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be an interesting Series 5 for us, and Series 5 as a whole feels extremely different to what's come before it, but it also marks obviously the change in baton from Russell T Davies, who brought Doctor Who back into the fray, and handing over to someone who is just as experienced and just as important a figure of Doctor Who, Stephen Moffat, someone who wrote incredible episodes in all of Who. He's very, very good. He wrote a lot. He wrote some episodes. He's a very good writer and a fantastic showrunner for the series. And a lot of people have interesting, takes on him. But I personally think, like I said, that it's obviously looking back at what Stephen Moffat wrote in the series 1 through 4. We've got obviously The Empty Child the Doctor Dances from Series 1. In Series 2 he wrote nothing. No, he didn't. That's a lie. He wrote The Girl in the Fireplace in series for series 2. For series 3, he wrote Blink, which is a very, very good episode, I have to admit. So he wrote Blink in series 3, and in series 4, I believe he wrote. He wrote Silence of the Library and The Forest of the Dead. So yeah, another interesting episode that obviously introduces River. So that's what that does, I suppose. But yeah, like I said, it's fantastic. But yeah, like I said, it's been a fantastic series. But yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's a fantastic, it's just a really, decent series, and yeah, like I said, it's just an overall fantastic series, and with the 10th Doctor, I just want to say, obviously we'll talk about the end of the 10th Doctor when it comes to the end of time, part 1 and 2, but as a whole for the series, as we've seen, don't get me wrong, just because he's quite low down on my list doesn't mean I think he's terrible. I think he's a fantastic actor, a fantastic Doctor, and like I said, David Tennant's a fantastic actor too, so yeah. But yeah, this has been an interesting series to record. I've really enjoyed most of it, and like I said, it's been absolutely, fantastic to follow the 10th Doctor all the way through. And yeah, more reviews coming soon. And yeah, the movie reviews are not going to be coming back until I've finished all of Doctor Who. So I predict that's probably, I've got no idea, October. I've got no fucking idea the rate these are taking me. I could get them done. I know as a fact that I can get a whole series of episodes, that including anything like the specials, a 1 through 13 with one Christmas special. I can get that done in 2 days if I push myself. So yeah. But yeah, thank you for watching. This has been my review of Doctor Who Series 4. Coming up soon, we've got the review of the Series 4, the specials. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button. Any comments are appreciated. I read all the comments. I mean that. I read all the comments, and I do reply to some, as many as I can. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. And stay tuned for more reviews coming soon. Bye-bye for now.